Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back here with my YouTube video. And in today's video we're gonna be doing a bit of a different video here today, and it's gonna be like a theory-ish video. It's not really gonna be too much of a theory, just more of like a rumor slash some fun I wanna do and just kinda theorize a little bit of what might happen. But yeah, it's gonna be like, what if, like, who is going to be the Spider-Man of the Venom universe if they do it? Will it be Andrew Garfield? Will it be Tom Holland? I don't know. And I just thought it would be interesting to kind of theorize here. So yeah, let's get into it. Just quickly before I start, I haven't seen Venom 2: Let There Be Carnage yet. It isn't out at the time of the recording. I don't know if they'll put something like this in there, so I'm not too sure. Just in case, because you never know. But anyways, let's get into it. So yeah, recently there's been quite a lot of buzz thinking around the fact that Andrew Garfield could reprise his role as, of course, Spider-Man in the No Way Home movie, and then people are thinking perhaps that he could be the Spider-Man in the sort of Sony Marvel universe in a sense. So yeah, I know this is quite a bit old, though a lot of people speculating this back 2018 when the movie first came out. But at the same time, it's getting speculated again, and I just personally want to give my 2 cents about it, I guess, or my opinion on this topic. So yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. So yeah, with the Venom movies coming out, a lot of people are seeing as though Spider-Man kind of plays a role in terms of the whole Venom thing, in the sense that he's usually getting the symbiote first. They did it a bit different, and then now like that Eddie Brock has now gotten it first. So a lot of people are thinking, damn, it's probably definitely some time to for Venom to kind of show up and maybe fight Spider-Man. Not fight Spider-Man. He doesn't have to fight Spider-Man, or like perhaps just be around Spider-Man, maybe make a cameo appearance or something. Uh, and definitely I agree with that. Honestly, I agree with that. Just seeing it, I just personally, that this is just me. I find it a little bit weird seeing Venom kind of be like going around the place and stuff like that, and no mention of Spider-Man whatsoever. I find it a little strange. So that's just one thing. And we know going forward, Sony's trying to develop. It looks to be like their own kind of Marvel universe in a sense, using their Sony characters. Like, we know that there's going to be a Morbius, sorry, movie, and there's going to be a Craven the Hunter movie, and I expect probably more. So there's going to be a few different stuff. So I'm fully well expecting probably they'll all team up eventually or something along those lines. So I personally want to see like a Spider-Man. I mean, all these villain origin movies, they need to have a Spider-Man in a sense. Like, I feel like it goes on quite awkward just seeing no Spider-Man. And I understand, I guess, why they don't purposely don't put him in there. Just especially with the Tom Holland one, for example. Let's just. I'm pretty sure there's something with the rights that they can't like really put him in there. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know if I'll really talk about that, but then again, Tom Holland probably has some contract like things with Marvel slash Disney, where he's not really supposed to be appearing too much in these Sony movies. So that I understand that could be a reason why. So this is why like people kind of insert this theory. Now, firstly, before I get into that theory of Andrew Garfield, this being Spider-Man, let's first of all let's just talk about this Tom Holland version. So, firstly, many people, including myself, thought perhaps that, of course, this Venom, seeing as though it's being major in these Tom Holland movies and everything, definitely eventually Tom Holland would be fighting Venom. Now, a lot of people are, uh, myself included, think that's a very big possibility. Uh, and I mean, it sets up honestly well. Like, it explains why Tom Holland's never seen Venom, seeing as though technically Venom's on the other side of the country, in the sense that he lives in, what was it, San Francisco in California, whereas Tom Holland's all the way in New York, and they never really spoken about anything really about Venom or anything. I mean, San Francisco or any of that. But that also ties into another thing, which is that Ant-Man actually takes place in it. too. So it kind of like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, maybe it'd be funny if like Ant-Man had said something like, "Oh, I've seen web slinger like you before," or something like that, like funny like that. Yeah. So that's just one thing as well. That's just kind of making up here. So I'm not too sure if Venom is gonna be connected eventually to Spider-Man. I kind of hope he does, but at the same time, this theory seems pretty much pretty cool still too. But anyways, uh, yeah, again, in terms of like the Spider-Man usage when these Venom movies, like I'm fully well expecting. I don't want to see Venom versus Spider-Man in one movie like where he's a villain of the movie. That just makes no sense. He's perfectly well, damn well set him up as an anti-hero, and I hope it stays that way. He's not like, I do not want to see him at all become a villain. Uh, I know he has villainous tendencies, but at the same time, I do not want to see him like all of a sudden try and take over the world and all that. He's been pretty much set as an anti-hero now, so yeah, that's one thing. So in terms of like the Spider-Man usage, I wouldn't really want to see too much of a Spider-Man. I would like to see maybe cameos. That's what I would probably want to see. Probably maybe like him swinging around once in a while, or for example, like Craven's like I'm gonna set my eyes. Maybe they could do like a whole team up thing, and then maybe it's like Venom and Spider-Man versus like all these different characters and stuff like that. So that's one thing as well. So now let's go into the different thoughts of like the whole Andrew Garfield thing. Now again, this is purely speculation and everything that Andrew Garfield's supposed to be in the No Way Home movie. Now a lot of the times he shuts down that rumor right away and just goes like, "I won't be in it" and stuff like that. But a lot of people are speculating that he could be in it, which could definitely happen, but I'm not too sure. Uh, So again, like if he does appear in No Way Home, I see a clear way that they could maybe put him in the Venom universe. Maybe they could send him back, and then maybe get a glimpse of like we see like some of these characters such as Venom and whatnot. A lot of people have been speculating perhaps like he could become like a the Scarlet Spider type character in this, where he'd be like the other Spider-Man kind of, not like Miles Morales in a sense, like more like Ben Riley type character. And basically, he would go over to San Francisco and deals with Venom if this does take place in the same universe. Uh, or maybe even perhaps he gets sent back and then they run it with like two different Spider-Mans, which could be like similar to what the DC universe is doing with the two Batmans essentially. But again, then like Andrew Garfield wouldn't get like maybe he would get another movie, but he wouldn't get so many movies or anything like that. You'd still focus on like the villain universe and everything, so it's not like nothing too big in terms of that. In terms of that, maybe we get another Amazing Spider-Man 3 happen or something like that. So that's one thing as well. So I could definitely see how this kind of ties in. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think yeah, Andrew Garfield probably fits the Venom universe the best just because I gotta be fully well honest. I feel like I feel like Tom Holland just way too lighthearted. He's the way Venom is wouldn't fit well with Tom Holland Spider Man. Just in the sense that like he's an anti-hero, but at the same time he's literally like biting people's heads off and all this. And I feel like Tom Holland wouldn't really be dealing with him. I mean, of course he would probably if they wanted to deal with the Venom down the line, but I mean just I have a feel like the Venom movies are set in a different kind of style where it's much more darker. It almost seems like a DC movie in all honesty. So it's like much more darker in a sense. And I have a feeling like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man could definitely be useful to that because I'll be fully honest, out of all like every Marvel movie I've ever seen, his movies are some of the darkest in the sense that like he fights at night. He basically fights like murders things. The lizard, for example, like a big, huge beast, kind of. He has some darker storylines in the sense that Gwen Stacy died that way. So I would understand definitely to see maybe if he would be like the kind of darker tone Spider-Man we need for that Venom kind of universe or whatever. So that's one thing as well that could definitely go down. I mean, honestly, I know somebody might be thinking about this. Tobey Maguire again, he wouldn't fit either. It's just to fully well honest. It's just he kind of got his conclusion and everything. That's just the reason why I would rather like Andrew Garfield. It's just because Tobey Maguire kind of got his conclusion. We're gonna kind of get more of a conclusion if he's in No Way Home, in a sense, and then like again he's lighthearted too. He's not like, I feel like again like Andrew Garfield is more darker than the two. And of course, I mean, no disrespect to Tobey Maguire or anything like that, or his trilogy and whatnot. It's just his villain, like he just fought more, definitely a little bit different, and just in the sense that his was a little less darker. Uh, and I feel like he's a little bit too old in a sense, because again, if age plays also another interesting thing too, just because I don't know if they'll tie like the whole Eddie Brock scenario with Peter Parker thing. I have no clue if they do that, because if they did, Tom Holland isn't right for that because he's way too young, and then Tobey Maguire's way too old, and it just feels like he's pretty much done playing Spider-Man. So I would say more it's like Andrew Garfield. So yeah, and he's also expressed like interest in actually being Spider-Man again and stuff like that. So that's interesting to note and everything. Another thing too is like back in like when originally Tom Holland was cast, a lot of people wanted him to come over just because like it made a little more sense than recasting. But I guess they didn't care and they just recasted. But I mean, yeah, I could definitely see it go down now. But anyways, like that's pretty much it though. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.